Can everybody hear me and see this okay? Okay. So, like I said, this is a map that we currently have created. And as you see, there's all these sites that are color coded here. And so I'm just going to go through the manufacturing industrial projects first, and then we'll kind of backtrack to anything you have questions on it. I can go to the site and show you, give you some more detail of that. So the first site I'd like to bring up is this. Everyone knows this site is the old Northwest Hardwood site. It's now has an identification as the Gateway Business Park. Currently, everyone has seen the two buildings that are going up there. Those are buildings B and C. So there's approximately 129,729 square feet of manufacturing industrial rooftop in that building, and those two buildings that are currently being constructed on site. The employee count for that, we don't know yet because we don't know who the tenants are in the building. So there's a lot of spec building that's going on. They do have two tenants that they have been confirmed. One is a spa manufacturer. And so as time goes on, they'll keep bringing in tenants and leasing out space to that. So what I want to do is I want to show you how this website works. So when you click on this, you'll see that it gives you an identification, it gives you the parcel number, addressing, where it is and process. But the other thing is this. So where you see where it says click PDF, it will bring up, there we go. So it brings up a site plan and whatever information we have with the submittal. So currently this is what you're looking at. Here's the railroad, here's 67th Avenue. These are the two buildings that are being constructed right here. So every project that's going on will show a site plan, and if we have renderings of the buildings and what the layout will be, we'll also attach those to this map. So the next project we have is just down the street from that. I don't know if anybody's aware, Arlington Valley Road is the connecting road that was just built last year that goes from 204th along this alignment, comes out here to 67th by where the railroad tracks come across at a diagonal. This is the R&L Carriers site, and if you drive back there, you'll see it's under construction. R&L Carriers is a 60-bay cross-dock terminal. So what that means is that larger shipments of goods will come into the cross-dock, they'll unload, and then they distribute that out through the other bays into smaller delivery trucks. And so there'll be quite a bit of truck traffic that's generated from this site. They looked at both Spokane and Arlington in order to build this facility, and Arlington was their #1 choice. They liked the location. It's kind of the midpoint between Canada and Oregon. Better roadway system, better access. So we were happy to see them site here. So I'm just trying to get coordinated here on my my list and my map here. So SmartCap is another developer who's building quite a bit of spec building within the city. And so they have several projects going on. Many of you know where Elemental Cider is located. That is a SmartCap building. And so that's the project that was done on 180th north of the old Bayliner site. Site plan to that. gives you a location. Here's 180th. This is the old Bayliner site, 59th, and the airport's over here. They have a new project going on right now with 3 buildings going in. This is on 188th. This will be just east of the ball fields at 59th and 188th. So that will incorporate 94,452 square feet of buildings in these 3 buildings. So currently they're building the 2 here. This is 188th. These 2 buildings are being erected now. This will be the 3rd phase building. Back along behind the back of the old Bayliner site, there are some buildings going in back here. There's 6 lots that are being developed back behind this area. 3 of these are also spec buildings. And so this one, there we go. Here's the renderings they had for this. So this is what's currently happening. So if you just go to the east of where Elemental is, east and south of that, these 3 buildings are now under construction. So the owner of this, they'll occupy the first building. The other 2 buildings will be available for lease for manufacturing industrial. Hangars, there's been a demand for hangars for multiple reasons. One is Painfield, the private hangars down there are being taken up by the commercial use down on Painfield with the terminal down there. And so there's a real demand for hangars currently. Skagit is also kind of shifting what they're doing up at their airfield. So they're kind of eliminating private hangars up there also. So Arlington is the hot spot for hangars. Several hangars, 2 different builders here that are doing these hangars. I'll shift back to the other one here also. So that was McElrath. This is Northwest Custom Hangars. These are the ones that are, you see there's already a series of these built. They have the Quonset hut style end caps to the hangars themselves. So this is all along Airport Boulevard. A lot of growth occurring in the, a lot of interest in the airport industrial park right now, or business park. So Smart Cap, who has 2 other projects going on right now, has just leased an additional 15 acres along in the business park off of 172nd. So they're looking to build 3 more buildings on that location. Global Machine Works built a new building, corner of 192nd and 59th. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to be out driving around the airport currently to see all the activity that's going on. But it's well worthwhile, especially now when people have some available time with things being kind of in a slowdown. So, but there's quite a bit of activity that's occurring in this area. Why can't I get this to shift? This is a pretty nice looking building. They have a current building on the airport. There's a shifting of their employment into this new facility. So they'll have two buildings operating on the airport. HCI has a building going in on 188th also. That's this little blue square right here. So HCI is a steel building manufacturer. They are currently working out of a lease space at the old Bayliner site. He's building a new building. It's under construction right now. So he'll shift his operation into this new facility as soon as he's done. Any questions so far for any of the manufacturing industrial developments?
Mark, is 90% or so on the airport, or is a lot of it off the airport?
Actually, what's occurring on the airport right now are just the 2 hangars and the global machine building. Everything else is off of the airport currently. With Smart Cap coming in, they're looking at leasing this area right here. And so that'll be the first building on the airport business park that has been currently leased and will be under construction. Also underway is off of 43rd in the business park is a project that we have coming through for a new DSHS building, office space. Employment numbers there are about 92 to 94 employees out of that facility. And so it's a new facility. It supplements the one that's already in Smoky Point. But there's a lot of interest being generated now. And once construction starts within the business park, we just see this just taking off. So we've not seen a slowdown at all in application. We're still as busy, if not busier, than before the COVID-19 slowdown has occurred. So we just operate in a different way. A lot of Zoom meetings, a lot of telephone calls, but it's actually functioning really well. So.
Hey, Mark, I had a question. I see a lot of surveying activity at the corner of 67th and 172nd. Is there a large development going in there?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that. We haven't received the application yet, Eric, and so that's why I don't have it on the map yet. So I only put things on here that we have an application, but I will let you know what's going on at this location. So we have a company called North Point, and they're looking at doing a pretty sizable development within that location. There's 100 acres within Arlington jurisdiction, and there's an additional 130 acres in Marysville. So this will be a joint project with North Point. First 2 buildings will be built on that property where the surveying is occurring right now within the Arlington portion of the development. So there's about 1.2 million square feet of building just in those first 2 buildings. Total project will create about 3.4 million square feet of manufacturing industrial rooftop. It's pretty sizable. It's over a phase project, so they're looking at phasing plan of 3 to 5 years for total build out.
Mark, all of this property that you're showing us in Arlington is all part of that special industrial zone that has tax breaks and all that kind of stuff. And I've heard that because of the tax breaks, there's a fairly high demand and that the property values have gone up quite considerably. Can you comment on that? Or
I can. Thanks, Dave, for bringing that up. So as part of the Manufacturing Industrial Center recognition and designation from the state, this has really gained a lot of interest for what they've now named it the Cascade Industrial Center. As part of this, there are opportunity zones that were created within the manufacturing industrial area. And so those are the basically tax shelters. So for investment, if you were to invest in a project within the opportunity zone and you kept that investment in there for 10 years, you would see zero tax owed on the money. So it's a pretty good incentive for people who have to be able to shelter and have that tax shelter created. So Smart Cap is one of the companies that is doing that. So you can see why they're being so aggressive in their building, because of their interest from people who are investing into the opportunity zone. The other tax exemption is that through a housing bill, Marysville, Lake Stevens, and Arlington created a property tax exemption. And what that does is it allows you to get a tax break on your improvements as long as you meet some of the criteria. 25 or more employees, they have to pay a family wage job of $18 an hour or higher. It has to be an investment of over 100,000. So there's some criteria that goes along with it, but and they have to meet a certain criteria within the job classification, also the federal job classification under a manufacturing guideline. So, but people that can meet that definitely are taking advantage of that. So.
Mark, I have a question. This is Dale Duskin.
Hi, Dale.
Hi. Land lease on the airport, is it still land lease only and the buildings revert to the city after X amount of years, or how is that structured now?
No, it's the same. So currently you can get up to a 50-year lease. It's incremental. And then yes, the building would revert back unless there was something in way of an agreement in order to prolong that. The airport is actually petitioning to the FAA to extend that lease period for the land lease out to a 75-year lease, which makes it much more affordable for a business to look at that and be able to amortize their investment over that period of time. So just in summary, I'm going to give you a summary of the manufacturing industrial businesses that are currently underway. So 20 new businesses in Arlington, in the Arlington portion of the Cascade Industrial Center. So that created 336 new jobs. Currently built, there's 794,909 square feet of manufacturing industrial buildings that are being constructed or done. There's another 811,000 change square feet of proposed manufacturing industrial buildings. So that's a total of 1.6 million. That does not include what I just told you about with the North Point project. So that's an additional 1.5, 1.6 million square feet of manufacturing industrial rooftop within Arlington. One thing that I want to touch on, and I don't know if everybody's aware of this, this is what this is called the 51st Avenue Urban Village. I want to close this out for a second. So this is actually located within the Cascade Industrial Center. So the boundary kind of comes up here, follows 67th all the way up to 204th, comes back. It incorporates the airport, but it also picks this area up where National Food's at and all the way down to our boundary between Marysville and Arlington. The 51st Avenue Urban Village is actually a self-contained community. And so what it will do when it's over a phased period of 5 to 7 years for total build out, it will create 500 units of workforce housing. But it also, in part of that, it also has almost 22,000 square feet of office space, 70,000 square feet of commercial retail space. And it also has 16 live work units that will be out along the 168th alignment, which will be the roadway between National Food Property and the urban village here. So this is really a model project for us. This creates what we're looking for with the job creation and the Cascade Industrial Center. This actually creates the ability for your employees to live, work, recreate, and never have to commute on I-5. So the creation of these family wage jobs are occurring as the CIC is building out. So you could actually walk to work, physically walk to work, and never have to own a vehicle. There'll be a grocery store created in this development also. The live work units will basically serve as incubator space. And so a live work unit is this. It's a single facility that has first floor is a commercial, retail, office, manufacturing, light manufacturing use on the first floor. The owners then can live above it in the second floor. And so it really gives an opportunity for a startup business to be able to operate, grow, and live in the same building as what they're operating out of. So the footprint and your overhead costs are greatly reduced. So we're really looking forward to the live work units being created out of this also. But this is something that there's a lot of interest that's currently being generated about this urban village.
Hey, Mark, could you comment on what's being done infrastructure-wise to accommodate all the extra traffic and utilities and et cetera?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. So with the 51st Avenue project, I don't have the roadmap here or the TIP map that shows the improvements that are being proposed here. But this will be a connector from 51st. It'll run parallel along this project, across the next project. It'll swing up and tie into 43rd Avenue, right out in front of Walmart. From that intersection, we'll then continue westward all the way out to Smoky Point Boulevard. This is where Affinity is being built right now. It's the intersection going into Lowe's, everybody's familiar with. So these are the apartments that are being built there. Right out in front, this orange parcel is a 100-bed memory care assisted living facility that will be under construction by the end of the year. So that new creation of that intersection with the new signal and the roadway will come all the way back to the terminus here. So they're building that as part of this development. The city has a proposed project to pick it up from here to run all the way back across Walmart, the back of Walmart to 43rd, and then development on both the National Food Site and this 20 acres, and then this 20 acres with the urban village will create that connection all the way through for 168. So there'll be a parallel roadway that'll continue all the way from Smoky Point Boulevard to 51st. From that point, as this project builds out, the one that Eric was talking about, they'll be on the hook to create the intersections here as development occurs as part of that. And then the city will have a project in order to make this connector between 59th and 51st. So you'll have a complete connection all the way from Smoky Point Boulevard to 59th currently. So that'll be over the next 2 years. 63rd, which is this along here. So as the projects we were showing, or I was showing earlier with Smart Cap, PUD, and that project, the Red Line project, there'll be a connector called, the designation is, 63rd Avenue. So that will be from 188th here That will continue all the way down to SR 531, make a connector here. As 172nd gets built out, there'll be a roundabout here for that traffic to enter into. That will then continue into this project that we just discussed that's between Arlington and Marysville. So there'll be a north-south connector here. 168th will give you that east-west connector. And then also 173rd from Smoky Point Boulevard is going out to bid currently, I think, Jim, if I'm correct. And so that will make the connector from Smoky Point Boulevard to the new street that's built there along where the Seashaw Clinic is and the apartments are on 172nd. There's a road called 40th Avenue in there. That will come in and tie into 40th Avenue. It will then come out to an intersection that's being built here that's been funded through Public Works with a grant from the state to create a signalized intersection there. So that'll be a U-turn intersection. So you'll have these connectors that are occurring here that'll get parallel roadways with 172nd. So that's how we're addressing a lot of the growth in this area.
Where's the new fire station location? Can you show that on the map?
Again, that will occur right here. I think we even have the PDFs on this one. So Airport Boulevard, this is the 43rd alignment right here. So if you've ever driven back there, it comes to a gate right here before you come onto the airport, right here, before you come onto the airport. Let me see if I have a rendering of the building in here yet. There we go.
Paul, will they abandon downtown when this is complete?
No, the downtown fire station will stay. However, this one will replace 2 fire stations. Station 48 that's currently by the Kidney Center on Smoky Point Boulevard, which is in a leased building. This replaces that one, and we'll also be closing down Station 47 that's on 180th on the east side of the airport. That station right now has a BLS unit, a basic life support unit, some reserve equipment and administration. So it's not a huge fire station. And this one the location of this one will be able to serve the service areas adequately to replace both of those stations.
So I'm going to backtrack here for a second because I want to see if my PDFs were open for this yet. So this is back to the urban village. So this will give you a little better idea of what I was talking about with the street alignment. So this is the 168th alignment I was referring to up here at the top of the site plan. National Foods in this property up above it. Let me see if I have a, there we go. So this is as part of this project, this is a 4.5 acre park site that's being created here. These are the live work units I was referring to in this location. So each one of these apartment complexes has open space for each one of the apartment complexes, but this will be a common area. This will be available to not only the tenants within the urban village, but it will be open to the public also. There's a grocery store planned right here. As you can see, all the commercial pads out here. And then the residential units are lined up along here. So as part of this, with 168th, we'll come out into 51st, and there'll be a roundabout created there also for the intersection.
Mark, are the roundabouts going on 172nd going in before 172nd is widened, or are they going in after?
As part of the widening.
Okay.
It's all part of one, yeah.
All the same. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So a few color renderings of the building, of the apartments. So this is a combination. This is both a vertical mixed use building, as opposed to some of the other projects we have going on, which are horizontal, which have a separation of the commercial use and the residential. So you'll have the commercial out along the road frontages and the residential off to the back of the property. This actually is a vertical arrangement where all the retail, commercial uses, office uses are on the primary floor, on the ground floor, residential above.
Mark, do you know a figure for how many residential units are in the pipeline now in the city limits?
I do. They're currently right now in the pipeline, either under permitting or under construction, just shy of 1,400 units total. And 600, almost 680 of those are senior units. So we have a lot of senior housing that's going in right now. With the projections that we're seeing for population for seniors, it's a significant number. They're looking at a 20% increase of seniors over the next 5 to 7 years in Snohomish County.
Mark, Lee Harmon here. Any professional buildings going in on the plans?
There's opportunity, Lee, for professional buildings. They would be part of the leased units with the mixed use, but there's a lot of availability to have professional office space in all of our mixed use projects right now. But anything that's specifically to professional, nobody's come in. I do have one that's coming up. I don't have permitting on it yet, but that'll be out along where the Seashaw Clinic is on 172nd. So the property next to that to the east is what we call Baker Moore. That's where the apartment complex is going on right now. The front 3 pads on that property are under contract right now. And the project is slated for a new Everett Clinic on that location.
Is there anything slated for the other lot that's on the southwest corner of the Baker development?
Not yet. No, we keep looking at. I mean, there's been some things that have come in. We're pretty particular about what we'd really like to see there, and so we're trying to be selective in what gets placed there. But yeah, it's still available.
Oh, okay.
Mark, I'm seeing the renderings of the 51st Street Urban Village. Could you point out where that where the professional buildings are going on your main map?
Yes. Let me get back to that. So this is where the apartments are being built right now currently. And this map is not showing, I wish it was showing the roadway alignment there, but you can kind of see how the road's coming in here and it turns, comes back out to 172nd. These 3 pads are where the Everett Clinic is going to be placed right here.
So,
So
almost
Seashaw
adjacent to
Clinic
the
is right
track.
here.
Yeah, okay.
Mark, next to Bartell's, I guess there's a Starbucks going in there. Is there any other proposed developments farther west along 204th on the north side?
Yes, there are. So let me slide up here real quick. So this is the reserve. This will be 130 unit senior housing. Let me pull that up real quick. So Bartell's is here. The proposed Starbucks is right here. Then the reserve will be this location. Let's see if I have a rendering on that yet. Nope. So the property, let me go back to the main map here. So we have a proposal coming in this week. Actually, they're making application for the property on the south side of 204th. So this is Jensen Industrial Park right here. This is all commercial property out along the street frontage. And so there is a vertical mixed use project that's being proposed right here. It's called Filtrate Village. So I don't even know, since I don't have it on my permitting. Let me see if I have any. Yeah, I do. So it's 181 units of apartments. So this will be a 4-story building. It has a separate clubhouse. I wish I had the renderings on it, but like I said, it hasn't made application yet. But it's a very attractive project that's going in here. I think everyone will be pleased with this. Vertical mixed use. There's about 30,000 square feet of retail that'll be on that first floor, and these will be fairly high-end apartments in here. They have a separate clubhouse, sport court, and I wish I had the renderings to be able to show you, but this will be it'll be on this map by next week when application comes in, so you'll be able to see it. This is the old Modern Furniture site right here on the north side of 204th. Same developer who has the reserve and also did the villas out the mixed use or the multifamily out by the senior center on Smoky Point Boulevard, has this under contract. And so they're looking at doing a similar product that they did with the villas on Smoky Point Boulevard at this location. This will be different because this will be a horizontal mixed use. So you'll have commercial uses out along the street frontage, professional uses, retail, restaurants, and then you'll have all the residential out behind the back here.
Mark, does the city get inquiries on the old Hagen's building at all? Has there been any movement at all?
It's owned by a property management company out of California. They are into this building pretty significantly, and so they're really holding their ground. We've had people who were interested in the property. We actually had Fred Myers wanted to purchase it from them, and they just weren't willing to negotiate at all. So they're waiting for a turnaround in order to recoup their cost on it. So it's frustrating on our part.
Hey, Mark, I have a question.
Yes.
This is Fitz. The tax incentives on these buildings, you mentioned two things. One, property tax relief for 10 years. And then you said no taxes for 10 years.
So that's be capital gains. Yeah.
No capital gains taxes, and that is on rents only. Like if you own the building and you run a business out of it. So the landlord is exempt from capital gains taxes for 10 years?
As long as they're invested into the project itself. So if you have an investment group, and that's what SmartCap is doing, they have a group of investors for each one of these projects that they're doing. So they're individual opportunity zone projects.
So if I have a guy that's willing to build a building for my company, he would be tax exempt for 10 years on the capital gains from the lease to me?
If he were to create an opportunity zone company in order to do that.
Is there an opportunity zone has to follow those characteristics by the number of people? What if he leases it to a company that qualifies for the opportunity zone, or how does that work?
There's no qualification.
The program is through the IRS, so it's a tax relief program, and that the opportunity zone concept was taken to divert capital money that normally went to about 80% of the capital investment goes into either Los Angeles area or the New York area, and then the other 25% is spread around the rest of the country. And so the IRS program was to kind of create some incentives that would diversify that money a little bit and spread it out into areas that don't see it. So they took about 25% of the census zones that fell into low to moderate income areas and created these through a process with the states and the local governments, through a process, created these opportunity zones. And so there's quite a bit of rules in there, but there's two ways to do it. One, I mean, so there's the buildings like Marc's talking about that qualify for opportune funding because they're in a zone and they're being built for a use that's allowable. And then there is a small amount of room in that program for actual business development. So you could use it for some capital expenditures directly related to a business rather than the facility itself. It does work, but you have to be part of the program.
Okay. Yeah, and it seems like my business may not qualify, but I guess the reason I was asking is because it's kind of a step I'm at. And if I have a building built for me, it doesn't have to be just a roof and walls, let's say a 50,000 square foot building cost $4 million to build normally. For me, it could cost as much as $11 million, and the building owner could lease it to me, including all equipment, at a higher lease rate, which is kind of how it works sometimes. And I didn't know if they would be tax exempt on capital gains from that, was my question.
Yeah, presumably, yeah, if they follow the rules and we're within an opportunity zone in an area that was designated as an opportunity zone.
Are all the opportunity zones being used, or is the whole
they're done by census tracts, so you really have to, you go on the IRS website, you can look at the census tracts under the opportune zone all over the country. So
okay.
It's, we have some that fell within the manufacturing industrial center, the CIC, but there are also areas of the CIC that aren't in the opportune zone just because of the way that the census tracts.
Understood. So the combination is that these guys are playing on is they're finding opportunity zones within this corridor so they can both get a 10-year window of no property taxes on top of a 10-year window of no capital gains taxes. Is that correct?
That's two separate programs but you could potentially do that in the CIC.
In the corridor, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I'm confused though. There's normally no capital gains till you sell the property. Leasehold income's not capital gains.
Right. That's what I'm trying to understand. That's what I'm trying to understand.
So the OZ zone is a two-prong. So you can divert capital gains taxes by investing money that would fall on that so you pull money out of another investment that would trigger capital gains liabilities. And so if you invest them into an OZ zone, you shelter a portion of that capital gains over the 10-year period. And at the same time, if you stay in the program the 10 years, you're also sheltering future capital gains. So what it does is it raises the return on investment to make it more palatable, so that investors are more willing to invest in these lower income areas versus the high demand areas like LA and New York that get huge returns.
Got it.
Invest already.
So the upside, the incentive is not after the leasing. It's the person building the building is using a capital gains cash flow from another investment to pay for the building of the building, and they get to amortize that savings over 10 years.
Right, that's it. So you invest X amount of dollars on a capital gain that would be subject to a capital gains liability. Some of that is deferred. You pay some capital gains, but a lot of it's deferred. And then you also save the capital gains on the end after the 10 years if you liquidate that asset.
Holy shit.
You've got capital gains on that side. So you're looking at taking what in a low moderate income area that might be 8 or 10% return on investment, and you're putting it at 20 or 25% return on investment with the savings that you get in the capital gains.
Is this program?
Let's take this back up. Let's get back down to the detail. You guys can get this online. Get back to the Marc program.
So I'm just going to touch on two other things that we're doing right now with programs. One is we're doing a planned action environmental impact statement for the Arlington portion of the Cascade Industrial Center. So what that does is it identifies what type of potential impacts there would be from development within the Cascade Industrial Center over a 20-year period. That's the planning horizon we're looking at. And so we're working on that right now. That'll address, how are you going to deal with population and jobs, that ratio? How are you going to deal with traffic impacts? How are you going to deal with the environmental impacts? And what it really does is it sets the tone for someone to come in to develop that doesn't have to go through a SEPA process for each individual project that they come in with. We've already addressed that. And so that'll be good, like I said, for that planning horizon that we create this for. So we're in the middle of doing that right now. And of course, it's got WashDOT's piques their interest. And so we're in constant communication with them because they want a lot of information from us that they'd like to be able to glean for their own use. So anyways, that's one of the programs we're working on right now. Other program we're working on through a grant through the Department of Commerce is a housing action plan. And so the housing action plan identifies where we are currently in our housing, the amount of housing, the type of housing, where it's located, what the current needs are, and what future needs are. And it will identify this all in a document, which will then have action items attached to it. So as we go through this, we know where we are. It kind of sets the tone for, all right, do we have enough percentage of this type of housing? And so we can identify that and move forward with that plan over the next planning horizon for us, which is typically on a 20-year basis. So we'll update this on a regular basis, like every 5 to 7 years, just so we can keep up with where we are, where we're going, and whether or not we've met our goals or not. So that's currently happening. And if anybody's interested in the information, we can definitely share that. It'll be on our website. We'll keep that updated with the work product as we move forward with it. The third item I wanted to touch upon is this. We have a comprehensive plan update coming in 2023. And so we we're going to start doing public outreach. We should have started that already before we were kind of hamstrung here with the stay home, stay healthy. But you'll start to see a lot of information that we'll start putting out into the community and getting that community participation as we work our way through this comprehensive plan update. Comp plan hasn't been updated. I mean, really been rewritten at all since 2005. A lot of things have changed, and so this will really be a rewrite of our comprehensive plan. So look forward to a lot of public participation with this process. So I know I've hit on a lot of things. Is there any information I can share? Questions?
Well, Mark, I want to thank you if there are no questions. And this has been incredibly informative and very enjoyable. So I thank you on behalf of the Rotary Club. Simona, I know next week we were planning on a duck dash discussion, and is Devin planning on doing that out of the board meeting last week or yesterday?
Yes. And then we are also going to have the students that receive the grants. They're going to be in attendance and
The scholarships?
yeah.
That's on the 28th.
Yeah, that's not next week. We've got the Duck Dash 1 program, and then we've got the scholarships as another.